Is monogamy really a challenge for men in today's world? That's the million-dollar question we're going to tackle today. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage. We live in a world that's constantly evolving. Societal norms, gender roles, and expectations have undergone drastic changes over the last few decades. We're no longer living in the era where men were the sole breadwinners and women were confined to the domestic sphere. Today, we're embracing equality, diversity, and individuality more than ever before. So, where does monogamy fit into this modern narrative? Well, the concept of monogamy, or being in a committed relationship with one person at a time, has been around for ages. It's deeply ingrained in many of our societal and cultural norms. But as we evolve, so do our perspectives on relationships, and that's where the crux of our discussion lies today. Given these societal shifts, it's not surprising that the dynamics of relationships are changing. Men, like women, are now exploring their identities, their desires, and their expectations from relationships in ways that were not typical of previous generations. Is this exploration leading to a challenge with monogamy? Is the traditional idea of being with one partner at a time being tested by these new dynamics? Is monogamy becoming a square peg trying to fit into the round hole of modern societal expectations? These are some of the questions that we need to ponder. The relevance of this topic in today's society cannot be overstated. As we navigate through the complexities of modern relationships, understanding the challenges and implications of monogamy becomes crucial. Not just for men, but for everyone who's striving for a fulfilling, satisfying, and meaningful relationship. So, is monogamy really a challenge for men in today's world? Well, there's no straightforward answer to this question, but one thing is for certain: it's a topic that warrants a deeper look, a topic that beckons us to explore, understand, and reflect. Now let's delve into the research to see what it has to say about this intriguing question. Science has a lot to say about monogamy, or the lack thereof, in men. Let's dive into the biological realm first. Testosterone, a hormone that men have in higher levels than women, is often associated with sexual desire and aggression. Studies suggest that men with higher testosterone levels may be more likely to have multiple sexual partners. Now, this doesn't mean that high testosterone equals infidelity, but it does point to a potential biological inclination towards variety. Next, we have the Coolidge effect, a phenomenon observed in numerous species, including humans. Named after a rather risque joke involving former U.S. President Calvin Coolidge, this effect refers to the renewed sexual interest that males often exhibit when introduced to new receptive females, even after exhaustion from previous sexual encounters. In layman's terms, it's the tendency for men to be excited by novelty. Shifting from biology to psychology, we find evolutionary psychology, a field that tries to explain our mental and psychological traits as adaptations to our ancestral past. Evolutionary psychologists argue that men's predisposition to seek multiple partners could be a product of our ancestors' survival strategies. The idea is that men who spread their seed widely had a better chance of passing on their genes, and thus, this behavior became advantageous. In contrast, women, who could only have a limited number of offspring in their lifetime, were more likely to seek out high-quality partners who could provide and protect, leading to a preference for monogamy. But before we get carried away, let's remember, we're not slaves to our biology or our evolutionary past. These factors might influence our behaviors, but they don't dictate them. We're complex creatures capable of making choices that go against our instincts. So science seems to suggest that men might be naturally inclined to seek variety. But is this the whole story? Society and culture also play a huge role in shaping our relationship norms. Let's take a look at the societal pressures and expectations that might be influencing men's attitudes towards monogamy. It's no secret that our society has a certain set of expectations when it comes to relationships. We're often fed the narrative that a real man is one who can attract multiple partners. This idea is reinforced through various mediums, from blockbuster movies where the hero always gets the girl, to music lyrics that glorify the playboy lifestyle, to advertising campaigns that subtly, or not so subtly, equate masculinity with sexual prowess. Peer pressure can also be a significant factor. There's a certain machismo associated with the ability to win over numerous partners, and men often face a certain level of scrutiny and judgment from their peers if they choose to commit to one person. This societal pressure to conform to a particular image of masculinity can make monogamy seem like a less appealing option. On top of this, societal norms and expectations themselves can be a barrier. We live in a world where the idea of a perfect relationship is often romanticized and idealized. The notion that one person should be able to fulfill all of our needs and desires can create unrealistic expectations. When these expectations aren't met, it can lead to dissatisfaction and the desire to seek fulfillment elsewhere. But it's not all doom and gloom. Society is constantly evolving, and so are our perceptions and expectations of relationships. More and more, we're seeing a shift towards valuing emotional connection, communication, and mutual respect over traditional gender roles and stereotypes. This shift could make monogamy more appealing and attainable for men in the future. So, it seems that both biology and society may make monogamy challenging for men, but what do men themselves have to say about this? When asked directly, men have a lot to say about monogamy. According to a recent survey we conducted, the responses were as diverse and nuanced as the men who gave them. Some men spoke of monogamy as a source of comfort and stability. They described the deep connection and shared history that comes with committing to one person and the joy of growing together through life's ups and downs. They told us that monogamy provides a safe space to be vulnerable, to share their deepest fears and highest hopes. But not all men see monogamy in the same light. Some spoke of feeling confined or limited by the idea of being with just one person for the rest of their lives. They talked about the thrill of new encounters, the excitement of the unknown, and the vibrant energy of fresh connections. They shared that while they understand the societal pressures to settle down, they struggle with the notion that they should limit their romantic or sexual experiences to just one person. And then, there were men who fell somewhere in the middle. They acknowledged both the rewards and challenges of monogamy. They appreciated the security and intimacy that a committed relationship can offer, but also grappled with feelings of restlessness or curiosity about what else or who else might be out there. They told us that it's not always black and white, that sometimes they feel pulled in different directions. These candid reflections reveal the complexity of men's feelings towards monogamy. Some embrace it fully, others resist it, and many are somewhere in between, wrestling with their own desires and the expectations of society. What's important to remember is that there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Each man's experience is unique, shaped by his own values, desires, and life experiences. Clearly, men's views on monogamy are varied and complex. So, where does this leave us? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this topic and explore potential paths forward in our next segment. Monogamy can be a challenge for men today, but it's also a challenge that many are willing to take on. In the dance of life, monogamy may seem like a complicated step for many men. It's like trying to master the tango when you've only ever done the two-step. But just as a dancer learns new moves, men too can learn to navigate the intricate dance of a monogamous relationship. Monogamy isn't a natural instinct for many men. It's not the easy path. It's a choice that requires conscious effort, commitment, and a willingness to forego other potential partners. But despite its challenges, many men still choose monogamy. Why? Because the rewards can be profound. Firstly, there's emotional security. Knowing that you have a partner who will stand by you, who understands your strengths and weaknesses, who knows your quirks and still loves you, can provide a sense of comfort that's hard to find elsewhere. Then there's stability. Life is filled with uncertainties. Jobs change, friends come and go, circumstances shift, but having a steady partner, a constant in the whirlwind of life, can provide a sense of grounding that's both reassuring and empowering. Lastly, there's deep intimacy. Monogamy allows for a level of closeness that can't be achieved in fleeting relationships. It's the kind of intimacy that comes from sharing experiences, dreams, fears, and triumphs over a long period. It's the intimacy that makes you feel seen, understood, and valued. But to reap these rewards, it's essential to have open communication and understanding. Understanding that monogamy is a choice, not a mandate. Understanding that it's okay to struggle with it sometimes. And understanding that open, honest communication is key in navigating this challenge. So, is monogamy a challenge for men today? Yes, it can be, but it's a challenge that, with understanding and effort, many men are more than capable of